All right, what's up, guys? This is the Awesemo.com NHL Hit the Ice show coming to you on a Saturday for the first time, and kind of a weird time to be doing this because we don't know a ton of lines, but I'm not really expecting a ton of changes. So maybe we'll see if this works out in the future, or we'll push it back. But just wanted to make sure we could get in some content for you guys on a Saturday. They are bigger slates. We'll probably have some people joining me in the future, but just wanted to see if this time slot would work, see how many people we could actually get in the chat. Let's see. I'm going to post this link in a few spots, and then we will get going. We can talk early slate, we can talk main slate, probably more general talk than anything, but yeah, we'll do whatever you guys want. Maybe play around with Fantasy Cruncher. I don't know if I'll have time to go through all 11 games. We can maybe go through the morning slate and then do Cruncher for the late slate if you guys want to do something like that, or mess around with the lineup builder. I do have some notes on matchups and such. Got the line data pulled up. Got my projections. They're not uploaded to the site just yet. Gonna make some few adjustments, but yeah, should be a fun little show. We'll probably go until a quarter after, give some room to Adam and EMAC, who are gonna be doing the NBA show. I know I think there's maybe 1 or 2 slates for NBA today, but don't want to take too much of their time away. All right. Post this in Slack. There we go. See if we got some people joining here. Oh yeah, we got some people joining. All right. I've got 3 screens going right now. I've got the laptop and the dual monitors, so I've gone full on sports nerd here. All right, let's see. Oh, this is from yesterday. That's from today. Last night we had the nuts. We had the nuts written up in my Spotlight Stacks article, but in the lineups that I had, the Minnesota one with Winnipeg one, I did not have the right defenseman and goalies, so I correlated goalie, and I was running 4-3-1s, so it didn't quite work out, but I felt like I was on everything good, so that was good. It's tough when you don't win when that happens, but it was still good nonetheless. Those are my projections right there. Don't know why that popped up, but we'll close that. So the show's going to go on for half an hour if you guys are just joining. We'll just talk through both slates in a more general sense. Maybe we can go through each of the early games if you guys are degenning the 3-game early slate. DraftKings, I think, gave us some decent contests. I entered in the $8. I didn't see what else there is. So maybe we could actually go through those contests as well, and then get any morning skate news that we see. I could just kind of update you guys. Yes, please to what? CJ Rudy. What are you saying yes, please to? I can do whatever you guys want. We got some time this morning. Actually, I should probably promote the shows. So we've got, as I mentioned before, early. Okay, we'll go through the early games really quickly, and then maybe do some crunches, do some main slate crunches, and then I'll be in Slack and can talk about matchups and such for the rest of the day. But just wanted to get a show in early so that we have time for On the Contrary, probably our most popular show. Not probably, it is our most popular show. It's going to be Chris Spags with Alex Awesemo Baker. Those guys are going to be going live at 1:30 Eastern. That show just kills it, so would definitely suggest watching that if you are playing some NFL DFS. It's a show that I watch every week. I would suggest it if you're a beginner. I would suggest it if you play NFL DFS really serious, or even if you don't play NFL DFS. I think some of the stuff that Alex has to say applies to all sports. So would definitely recommend that. Let's see what else we got here. All right, let's go through the early slate. That's what we're going to do. So we've got Vancouver and Buffalo. No goalies confirmed just yet. We'll probably know right before lock of the early slate. So this slate locks at 1 Eastern. And I don't have any hard matches for this game, but looking at the line data here, the top play in this game almost certainly is Eichel, Skinner, Pominville. They've been really awesome at even strength. You look at what they've done as far as high danger chances, they're just crushing it. So I really like Eichel, Skinner, Pominville. They're pretty expensive, but this short slate seems pretty straightforward, honestly. I don't think I, again, have a ton of hot takes. I'm just going to try to play the best plays and hope things fit together and play even strength stacks. That's kind of my plan for the early slate. So the Buffalo top line is going to be in a healthy amount of my lineups. I think I have 50 right now. They're going to make their way into, I mean, I don't know, probably 15 to 20 of those, I would say, on the low side. Could be a bunch more than that, but they project very well for me. Vancouver's a team I like to target. I don't mind targeting the Horvat, Virtanen, Schaller line, or the Pettersson, Goldobin, Eriksson line. The Pettersson line is the one that I want for Vancouver, though. That's the one I'll have the most exposure to. They've been solid at even strength and probably going to avoid some time against Eichel, Skinner, Pominville. Neither of these teams you should be worried about targeting. Middle stat line, definitely shouldn't be worried about targeting. Same with Rodriguez, Reinhart, and Sabatka. Even though that line was, they had very good results the other night. I don't know how good of a line they're going to be overall. So kind of going to avoid them, at least for the near future. Defenseman in this game, I like Chris Tanev for Vancouver, just playing a bunch of minutes, blocks shots, and on a short slate that can be valuable for 4K. He doesn't get power play time, but I think any of these Vancouver defensemen should be at least on your radar for the early slate. Pouliot for 3,700, Hutton for 3,800. Are we on FanDuel pricing? Yeah. All right. Let's go at DraftKings pricing. Tanev 3,800 and Pouliot 34, Hutton 46. I think those guys, again, are still all in play. On the Buffalo side, Ristolainen for 5,300 is probably the guy you want if you're stacking any Buffalo line, but especially that top line. And then Dahlin, however you want to say it, 4,100. He's not shooting as much as I would like to see, but if you are stacking one of these Buffalo depth lines, maybe that second line, Middlestat, Sheary, and Oposo, I think Dahlin does correlate well to that. So there's not a ton that I think is off the radar in this game. I think just stick to the two best lines, and that's Eichel and the Elias Pettersson line, who's up to 7,500 on DraftKings. That's pretty wild, but his line mates make him super affordable. It's just about 15K, a little bit over, to stack the entire Pettersson line. Just got here to talk about Eichel yet? Yeah, just really like that top line. Kind of hard to avoid on this short slate, especially if you're making multiple lineups. They would certainly be in the conversation if I was just making one lineup for the slate. So really, really like Eichel, Skinner, Pominville. Eichel and Skinner especially, but Pominville, even for 6K, I think is certainly in play. All right, next game, Blackhawks, Flyers. We have probably Corey Crawford going up against Brian Elliott. No confirmed goalies yet for this one. Again, you're going to have to wait until warm-ups. So if you're crunching today, I would suggest Besser is hurt, bringing down Pettersson's value. I mean, Pettersson's been fine without Besser. You know, you'd like Besser there, but It's not like you can't play Pettersson because Besser's not in the lineup. So wouldn't worry about that too much. It makes Pettersson easier to stack because Besser would be a lot more expensive. Blackhawks Flyers, man. Looking at Philadelphia, they've just been kind of a weird team to start out with. They were allowing a ton of high danger chances, then they weren't, and now they've kind of gone back to that. Goaltending's been a disaster for them for over a year now. The lines that I like for Chicago are the top two. I think I do lean towards the second line, Anisimov, Schmaltz, and Patrick Kane. They're probably going to avoid some time against Couturier, Giroux, and Konechny. But looking at what Philadelphia's done with hard matching, they haven't really been doing it all that much. So it's tough to say who's going to see the most time against which line. So I like targeting Philadelphia. I like targeting the Blackhawks. I think basically every offense is in play for the early slate, but Kane, Anisimov, and Schmaltz all getting power play time and are very cheap to stack together, just about, let's see, 16K, if I'm doing that math correctly, under 16K maybe. Philly 1 is the best in the slate. Yeah, you could certainly make an argument for that. They're probably going to be maybe the highest owned or the second highest owned line, Philly 1. They look underpriced to me. Couturier at 5,700. I know the results haven't been great, but I still really like him for 5,700. You can get in his other line mates for, let's see, 12, 13, 17.3, if I'm doing that math correctly. Yeah, 17.3 for Philadelphia 1 is a pretty nice price when you look at the price of Buffalo that we just talked about, who's, let's see, what are they? They are 20K, it looks like. So if you're doing some shopping, I think that Philadelphia 1 on DraftKings is a really nice value. The second line with Lindblom getting power play 2 time, I think, is also in play. And then the Wheel Simmons combo, I think, is one that I'll use. This line comes up for me quite a bit when I'm just crunching and I let it go without any settings besides forward stacking. So I want to see why that is. I've got their line data pulled up. I've got everyone's line data pulled up, but let's see if I can. Oh wait, do I not have it for the early? Anyways, it only downloaded the main slate, but I can just look this up really quick. All right, we've got 2018, just going on Natural Stat Trick right now. My favorite website, pretty much my favorite website. Weiss and Simmons. Yeah, they've got really good numbers. So Wheel, Weiss, and Simmons, about 56 minutes of ice time. It's near 60 Corsi for percentage. They're creating 35 scoring chances for per 60, 17.4 high danger chances for per 60. This will be a line that I have in MME. MMEing this morning, and yeah, definitely going to work in some Philly 3. They're going to see Chicago's depth. That is certainly a matchup you can target. You can really target any line on Chicago. Tays lines playing super high event. Anisimov, Kane, Schmaltz gives it up defensively. Not worried at all about whatever the third line is. Camp, Sod, 14. Yeah, you can target Chicago for sure here. And Philadelphia 3 is going to be very low owned. So it's going to be in order of ownership in this game. I think it's going to be Philadelphia 1 for me. I like Chicago 2 a ton. And then Philadelphia 3 is going to be kind of my low owned line for GPPs. 28 minutes. Yeah, for Kane last time. Why is Simmons the stay away play? Oh, Simmons is the play. Stay away from Philly 3. Okay, I gotcha. Chicago is a weak team, plus Philly is at home. Simmons is their guy who posts up in front of the net on the PP. Yeah, I think Simmons perfectly fine one-off there. The other one-off that I like is Jake Voracek, who I always like as a one-off. Just shoots so much, creates a bunch of high danger chances, and on that line, he shoots it even more with Patrick and Lindblom as his line mates. Yeah, that's pretty remarkable that Kane played, 28 minutes. You don't really see that from a forward too often. That's like Brent Burns, Erik Karlsson on the Senators type of thing. Defenseman here, I like Yoki for the Blackhawks. Just going to call him Yoki, or Gustafsson if you are getting away from Seabrook. Gustafsson, I think, is a fine value for 4,200 and does correlate a little bit to both of the top two lines. Gets power play time with Cahoon and Artem Anisimov. And then on the Flyers side, if you're going to the top line, pretty hard to not throw in Shane Gostisbehere for 6,100. If you're going to another line, Provorov is probably your guy at 5,200. And then Sanheim, I should always mention, just because he comes up so high in my projections, minute by minute is a solid player, but he only sees 14, 15, 16 minutes some games. So at 2,800, I think he's in play. If he's 3,500, if he's 3,600, something like that, he probably wouldn't be in play. But on a short slate, he could end up being my one of the 4-3-1. So, want to mention Sanheim. And then the last game of the early slate, we have Nashville at Dallas. Could be Pecorine, could be UC Saros going up against likely Ben Bishop. Still no Victor Arvidsson for Nashville that I know of. Kevin Fiala is so cheap. This Shore, Sagan, Nichushkin line got completely crushed at even strength in their last game. I was dead wrong on that. That was against San Jose. They saw some time against Pavelski, Kane, they saw some time against the third line for San Jose, and they got demolished. It wasn't a hard match, but I think it was like 5 shot attempts to 22 when Sagan, Shore, and Shushkin were on the ice. We saw Ben get about 5 minutes with Sagan. I would expect that to continue. Ben always finds his way back to Sagan. They always find themselves back together. So if I'm going to Dallas here, it's probably the power play, Sagan with Ben, Spezza, Gurianov is still 2,900, getting power play 2-time, and then everyone's favorite guy, Heiskanen, is 5K. No John Klingberg for the next little while, so Heiskanen will slot in on the top power play. Nothing bad to say about him at 5K when you're playing on the power play with Sagan, Ben, Spezza. You can lock him in for 5K if you're stacking Dallas. Nichushkin, Shore, and Sagan is fine. I mean, Shore gets power play 1 time. I mean, I'd rather not stack these even strength lines. I'd rather stack the Dallas power play. So if you are going to one, I think it would be the Sagan line, just because he grades out so well to me, and he does play with Shore on the power play, but I just hate playing Shore, and he gets ownership because he plays on the top line in the top power play, and I'd rather play some other players than good old Devin Shore. So he'll probably nail that hat trick tonight, or this afternoon. On the Nashville side, like I mentioned, Fiala's super cheap. Nashville one, hard to avoid here. The second line, I want to look at their numbers. Dallas D is atrocious today. Yeah, they're pretty terrible. Honka is 2,700. He's definitely in punt territory. Favorite goalie and stack on FanDuel? Ooh. My favorite goalie. I think it would probably be Buffalo 1 and Hutton, if you're correlating. That'd probably be my favorite top line goalie combo. All right. What else do we got here? What was I going to look at? Oh, yeah, Nashville 2. Oh, I don't have them on here. Let's see if I have them saved. With Yarncrook. Yeah, they've been pretty solid. 57.3 Corsi 4 percentage, 23.6 scoring chances, 4 per 60, pretty low event. So not a perfect line to want to stack here, but no Klingberg out definitely helps. And then, I mean, where else are you going to go in this game outside of Nashville 1 and Dallas power play? Because I don't really have a ton. You can play hat trick guy Colton Sissons for 3,500. That's a fluke in my eyes. I don't like Sissons at all, so I wouldn't play him. And I don't really want to dip down to any of these depth lines on either team. Yossi is my preferred guy. Once again, he's up to 5,800, but I still think he should be more expensive than that. You can do the double D stack with Ellis and Roman Yossi. They play together on the power play, and they're going to play a ton of minutes at even strength as well. All right, that's probably going to do it for the early slate. We've got 10 or 15 more minutes. So if you guys want to do crunches for the main slate, we could certainly do that. Let me get to the osmo.com main page. You're going to go to Fantasy Cruncher. You guys can get Fantasy Cruncher for free for a week using promo code HITTHEICE. You get Osmo's projections, or I'm sorry, Osmo's rankings, my projections, the premium Slack chat. You get Fantasy Cruncher for a week. So come join. It is free. Decide if it is for you. I think you're going to like it if you like MMEing. So right now, are we on DraftKings? Yeah, we're on DraftKings. We're going to do 3-man forward stacks like this for the main slate. And just kind of see what fits together. Polak will play 22 minutes. It's yummy for the Preds. Yeah, I'm not the biggest Roman Polak guy, but you could certainly play him if that's your kind of player. We're in 20% randomness, make this go a little bit faster. So I actually already did this before I came on, and the first thing I noticed was this stall line is getting a ton of juice for whatever reason on Fantasy Cruncher's projections. They really, really like them for the main slate. And we can just talk through the main slate. Generally, I still have to write my article, but hard not to like Columbus one on the back-to-back. Could see Atkinson there. You know, if Bjorkstrand's in there, it's a little bit of a downgrade offensively, but he's 3K, and that's pretty appealing when you could stack Panarin and Dubois with Bjorkstrand for, let's see, 12, 15, under 16K. Tampa 1, we've got another chalk spot for them. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. They priced him up finally. JT Miller is finally priced up outside of the 4s, skipped the 5s completely. He's up to 6,200. Tampa has a 4.2 implied total. That is ridiculous. I think that's the highest I've seen this year. Probably one of the highest we'll see all season. It's just like 4.2. DK priced him up, but not enough, in my opinion. They're still 20,700 to stack together. I think this is a nice spot to go to Tampa Bay too. I don't know if I'd take them straight up, but you're seeing them come up on some optimizers. They're not going to be unowned. A 4.2 total is going to get the attention of everyone. Both lines are not priced up enough, so I will have a bunch of Tampa 2 on my non-Tampa Bay 1 lineups. They're just really hard to get away from. Ottawa is atrocious defensively. Let's see, the Tierney Kachuk line. I want to look at them. Tierney and Bobby Ryan have been like terrible defensively. 133 minutes for those two. 70 Corsi against per 60, 30 scoring chances against per 60, 13.7 high danger chances against per 60. And then the Stone Duchesne Zingle line is not one you should be worried about at all. 15 high danger chances against per 60, almost 70 shot attempts. Ottawa is so bad defensively. So yes, Tampa's chalk, but they are very, very good plays. Let's see if we can find a Tampa 1 stack. Let's see what fits with them. So this is why Stahl, Fogle, and Justin Williams are coming up quite a bit. Florida 3, I don't really like that. Don't mind this Columbus second line at all. Yeah, this is ridiculous. So Pittsburgh has switched up their lines quite a bit. You've got Malkin with Hagelin, Hornquist, and then I'll just pull it up right here. Crosby, Rust, Dominic Simone. So all these lines are pretty cheap. They're affordable. You can probably stack all of them with Tampa 1 or Tampa 2. So they're going to have ownership. Really prefer this line with Hornquist at 4,700. I don't know why he's 4,700. But here we are. Hagelin down to 3K. I think the Penguins have the second highest total on the board. So do with that what you will. They're going to be pretty easy to fit in with Tampa, and that shouldn't happen, but it did. Florida 2 and Florida 1 are in very, very good spots. Like I mentioned with the Ottawa lines, the top two lines for the Islanders are similarly bad. Barzal with Lee and Bailey now, still not worried about that from a possession standpoint. And then Nelson with Eberle and Tom Kuhnhackl. Florida should trounce them at even strength, at least shot attempts wise. I know the Islanders have done a better job at limiting high danger chances, but this top 6 for Florida, this is a really, really awesome spot for them. In my opinion, you've got Luongo confirmed for 8K. Not the greatest value, but still going to be a guy that I do have some exposure to because Florida 1 is pretty affordable. And Florida 2 for that matter. What else is noteworthy in this game, or in this slate? Danault, Gallagher, Tatar is probably going to see time against Carlson, Marchessault, and Smith. So that matchup is pretty unappealing both ways. I hate targeting Vegas 1, and then I hate targeting Montreal 1. Their numbers have been exceptional, as we try to mention every single time. They've been one of the best lines in the NHL, which is crazy when you've got Danault and Tomas Tatar and Gallagher all together. It doesn't seem like it would be one of the best lines in the NHL, but man, it's hard to argue with those numbers. So don't really want much of anything in this game. And then Boston, of course, got to talk about them. I want to see what they can fit. You've got what you can fit with Boston 1. You've got Toronto on the back-to-back. Doesn't really matter which line Boston goes up against. They're almost always going to have the advantage. Not almost always. They pretty much are always going to have the advantage. So you're getting Boston with Tampa 3 a bunch. Boston with Tampa 3. Boston with Carolina 2. Boston with Florida 1. Or I'm sorry, Florida 3. You can go Boston with Crosby, Rust, and Simone. Pricing is too soft once again today. So as far as ownership goes, I think we're going to see Tampa 1, the highest owned, and then Boston 1, Tampa 2 up there. Also, what else do I have here? Carolina's going to be up there, but I think the second line might see more ownership than the top line. So I think Stahl might be more highly owned than Aho, Teravainen, and Furlan, not Svechnikov, because Carolina 2 fits with so much. They fit with all the chalky lines. So this is a lineup I really like right here. Point, Aho, Teravainen, and Furlan. So you got Tampa 2, Carolina 1. I like that a ton because Carolina 1 is going to see the Nielsen, Athanasiou, and Nyquist line, while Stahl is in the shutdown role against Larkin. That Larkin line's not a pushover at all, so really prefer Carolina 1 if we're talking about a lower-owned line than some of these other big ones. All right. Couple more things we can talk about. Not sure about the line matching in LA and Calgary. Kopitar has been doing some weird things. They've been doing some weird things with that line, probably because of the new coach. I really do like Carter, Kovalchuk, and Toffoli. I think there's very little chance they have that line going up against Backlund, Neal, and Tkachuk. I think that would just be pretty foolish. You probably put Kopitar on Backlund, Neal, Tkachuk, and then Carter, Kovalchuk, Toffoli against Monahan, Gaudreau, and Lindholm. I really like targeting Calgary 1 on the defensive end, and I think that Carter, Kovalchuk, Toffoli line is actually going to be very good if they keep it together. The main slate seems pretty straightforward as well. I actually don't think Pittsburgh's going to be all that chalky as a whole. Like, Crosby's going to get ownership, Malkin, Hornqvist are going to get ownership, Kessel's going to get some ownership. But as a whole, I think you're pretty safe stacking even strength lines. Like, Rust is going to be 7 or 8%. That's just my read on things. People don't full stack in tournaments for whatever reason. I think this is the perfect slate to do it, especially with a team like Pittsburgh, because if Rust does get the goal there, you're just ahead of so much of the field, even the guys that do have Crosby and Simone in their lineups. Or if Hagelin, for some reason, gets a goal and you've got Malkin and Hornqvist with them, you're just so much farther ahead than everyone else. So just as an ownership play, I think full stacking the Pittsburgh even strength lines are a pretty solid play because they're cheap. And yeah, the top guys might have ownership, but the ownership's going to be cut in half for some of these secondary pieces on the same line. I don't think I have anything else on the main slate. We're going to get out of here in just a couple minutes. Hope you guys enjoyed this Saturday morning show, because we'll probably have some different guests on it coming up. Maybe Steve joins, maybe Chris. I don't know. I mean, just wanted to see if this would work. We actually did get a decent crowd in here, which I was pleasantly surprised about. Anyone playing the 3-game early? Yeah, we talked about the 3-game early, so you can go back and rewind the show right now if you want. But some lines that I really like, really love Buffalo 1. I think the Pettersson line is in play for Vancouver. Love Chicago 2, Philadelphia 1. Philadelphia 3 if you're really dumpster diving as far as price goes. Dallas, I'm power play stacking for the most part. We're doing something like Sagan, Nishushkin, and Jamie Benn. Hiskinen is on that top unit. He's going to be heavily owned because he's the new toy, because he's on power play 1. And then really hard to get away from Nashville 1's price. Forsberg's expensive, but Fiala just makes that line so cheap. So that's my quick rundown of the 3-gamer. Don't know goalies yet, so keep an eye out for that. Tune into the show with Emac and Adam if you're playing NBA, or even if you're not playing NBA. They're just pretty entertaining. We've got the On the Contrary show at 1:30 Eastern with Evan Silva, Osimo, and Chris Spags. Definitely want to tune into that. That's our most popular show, and there's a reason it's the most popular show. Got some big names on there, and giving away free advice from Evan Silva and Osimo. I mean, can't really beat that. So I'll be sure to tune into that. You guys should too. NFL shows tomorrow. We have the NFL DFS strategy show with Laffy and Ben Raza. And then after that, Chris Spags and Josh Engelman take you up live before lock show at 12 Eastern. So lots of content here at Osmo.com. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. I'll be in Slack chat if you want to hit me up. Twitter, you can hit me up. Whatever. I'd love to help you guys out. And we will see you guys back on Monday if there's a slate. Good luck, guys.